Good morning. This is Saturday morning, February 10th, 2024. This is recording 637, impromptu. Impromptu because we had some technical difficulties Thursday morning and my brother was not able to record, but I have been having some revelations and thoughts being pressed on my consciousness ever since Wednesday night when I ended my broadcast of God Only Is. Well, let me correct that. This is recording 638, not 637. And in that Wednesday night broadcast, it is easy to look around and see that there's a life force that's all around us, and it is ever supporting every phase of life that exists. We have come to call that life force God, all-powerful, all-supreme, unable to be manipulated, challenged, or defeated in any way, even unable to even be accused. But we realize that if God only is, some questions should come to mind as to why do people live such short lives or aggravated lives or limited lives, and we can look at some of the things like trees that seem to live, and they just outlive generations. And the thing that we realize is that God tells us in the scriptures that we are the most important creation, the most important of all that he loves, and we seem to live the worst life that is. But getting back to the fact that if God only is, then I realize that if God has placed his life in everything, then that which I am seeking, I am. And I realize if I am that, then the life that is within me is eternal. The life that is in me is immortal. And the moment that I say those things, I immediately dissolve an appearance that I call me. Because if God is the life that I am, then God is that which I am. And there is no me for God to occupy because there's no separation, because God is one. So when I say I am seeking, I automatically create a separation. I automatically create another entity, which can't be because God is one. And where there is one, there is no separation. And after Wednesday night, when I left my broadcast, I went and joined another. And what I usually do is sign on and just kind of listen in to see what the flavor or the theme of what's going on is. And I realized that various people were describing various ways of attaining what is called enlightenment or communion with God. And it came clearly to me that which I am seeking, I am. And as they were describing the various ways of attaining enlightenment and communion with deity, it clearly came to mind that they were describing a way or ways, and I realized that I was not searching for a way. I knew that I had found the way. That is, for me. There was no need to seek, for I realized that I is the way. Please don't take that as bad English, because when God speaks as I. Tell them that I am the living God. Tell them that I am the way. Tell them that I am with you. And I realize now, it is the way of I. There is an I that speaks. There's an I that expresses. There's an I that does. We call that I God, and yet that I is the same identity that we call ourselves, and that I is the way. It is the way of I. How then do we join? How do we join the I that I believe myself to be with the I that I believe God is? Because in joining there would still only be one I, and that one I would be the way of I. And all things would occur because of the I that I believe myself to be. I is that which speaks within me. For even when I hear thoughts or ideas running through my mind, and should I ask, who said that? I would have to say, I said that. So I am the only I that is. So why then am I trying to reach another I that I believe to be greater? The way of I. I is that which reveals its presence. I is that which calls itself as I, and I is that which inhabits all that I call me. I am in them. I dwell in them. I fill all things with my presence. So then, I am that I am. I and I that I am is one and the same. I realize this sounds like a lot of bad English, but the theme that runs there is the non-separation of the I that is. I and I that I am is the same I. It is I that is the expression of all that is. And I am one with that I that is. Therefore, God, which is I, is also expressing as I that I am, and It is my conscious awareness of this truth that brings communion, that brings enlightenment. There can be no separation, for there can only exist one I, and I am that. I am the way. All things come into being because of the I that is, and nothing can come into expression except I bring it to pass through the I that I am. The way of I. As I ponder the I that I am, I cannot but behold or include within the contemplation the I that is all. I cannot speak of I that I am without also speaking of the I that is, because I alone am. And I must conclude that there can only be one I. And I must be wherever that one I that is all is. For it cannot exist without the I that I am, and I cannot exist without the I that it is. I and my Father is one. I cannot be separated from the I that I am. Then it is truly I alone that speaks, and I alone that expresses. There cannot be two identities of the same I, for I is one. And that I dwells within the consciousness which I am. It is I that expresses as all that is, and the I that all that is expresses as the I that I am. My conscious understanding of this truth constitutes all that is. If there is God, then I am that. And the fact that I am is proof that there is God. I, then, am the truth. Nothing can exist except I conceive it. As I am consciously aware of this truth, that which is inherently true of the I that is all is visibly true of the I that I am. I am therefore the life of all. Visible expressions of that which I constitute automatically come into view without effort because of the one I that is, and because of the I that I am that cannot be separated. And that one I that is all is ever fulfilled. So my awareness of the oneness and my acceptance of the oneness automatically brings into viewable experience or expression that which is necessary for the visible expression that I am, such as the seed that grows up and brings forth the fruitage in its season. It neither toils nor has any effort. For the fruitage of whatever that is comes to pass because of the intelligence that is already inherent in the seed. And the seed then is already fulfilled because of the fruitage that must come forth because the seed was planted. There is no seeking to find a way of uniting with the I that is called God, because I now recognize that I am that. Therefore now, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. There can exist nothing outside of these three witnesses or truthful expressions or expressions of truth, because everything is within the I, which is the way, which is the truth, which is the life. Hear, O blessed soul, the Lord God is one. I now rest in confidence and assurance as that which I am glorifies myself in infinite, unlimited expressions. I now rest, for only in rest do I declare the Sabbath. And the Sabbath is a holy day, a day of ordination, a day of understanding, a day of no concern, a day of realization that all that is, I am. And I am all that is. As day follows night and seasons come to pass in the order and seed time and harvest continue in their predetermined fashions, so does my rightful position as that which I am fulfill itself. For as there appears an I within, so also does there appear an I without. The same I. As Jesus declared, when you see me, you see him that sent me. And this is life eternal. This is life eternal. That I should know I aright. As there cannot exist but one I in identity, I accept without conditional reservations or limitations that there is no reason now to seek a way of I-ness, but only to recognize and rest in the conscious realization that I am that way. My conscious oneness with the I that I am constitutes my oneness with every spiritual idea. Therefore, there is nothing that can exist in God that does not already exist in me. For as God is, so am I. As God is light, then I am light. As God is the city of refuge, then I am the city of refuge. And as mankind can find solitude and comfort and protection in God, mankind can find solitude, perfection, protection, and realization of wholeness in that which I am. For without a doubt, I is the way, and I am the way. The way of I. God bless.